Hi, welcome to Reach Students Campus Ministry. My name's Matt, and every day this week we're going to be sharing with you one of our top 5 tips for acing your upcoming exams. Okay, and today we start off with the first one, which is this: make sure you get hold of past papers. And there are 3 reasons for doing that. The first one is this: get hold of a past paper and practice that past paper to time in exam conditions in your room or in your library. The reason for doing that is because you'll probably freak out the first time you try and do a past paper to time, but it's better to get that freaking out of the way in your room rather than in the exam hall proper. Okay, second reason for getting hold of past papers is that when you try and do them to time, you'll realise all the gaps in your knowledge, you'll realise all the things you don't know, and that tells you what you then need to focus on in your remaining studying. There's no point studying the things you do know, rather study the things you don't know. And the third reason for getting hold of a past paper is this: your lecturers are busy, and some of them are a bit lazy, and they're not going to reinvent the wheel each time. So if you get hold of a load of past papers and look at the kind of questions that they've asked in the past, you can be pretty sure that many of those questions are going to appear in the same format or a slightly different format in the exam itself. And what you can do is divide up those past papers between you and a few of your mates. Each of you have a look at some of the questions and then come and report back and have a suggestion about how you'd answer those questions. And if you can do that, then you'll be able to walk into your exam pretty confident that you'll know a lot of what is coming up on that paper. Okay, hope that was useful. Check back tomorrow for our next tip. Cheers, bye-bye. Hi, welcome back to Reach Students Exam Tips. And the tip for today is this: when you get into the exam hall, take a deep breath, relax, resist that urge to freak out, and make sure you read through your exam paper all the way through. Okay, don't be that person who gets out of the exam room and goes, "Oh, I didn't realise there were 2 sides to the exam paper," or "I didn't realise we had to answer all the questions," or "I didn't realise we only had to answer 2 out of the 5 questions." Okay, read through the exam paper. Make sure you know exactly what you've got to do. Make sure you don't miss anything. That's the first reason for reading all the way through the exam paper. The second reason is that your brain is an amazing thing and the power of your subconscious is great. So if you read through the exam paper, if you know all the questions that you've got to answer, then even as you're busy writing the answer to one of those questions, your brain is going to be processing in your subconsciousness some of your thoughts relating to the questions that are coming up. And what you can even do is have what I like to call a vomit page, just a separate bit of paper next to what you're writing on, so that if some genius bit of insight comes to you relating to a question that you know is coming up later on the paper, you can just scribble that down so that you're not trying to kind of remember it as you finish that question, remember it for the next question. Just vomit it down on that bit of paper and it will be there when you come to answer that next question. Okay, hope that helps. Hope the studying's going well. See you tomorrow. Hey, it's Matt again. Welcome to day 3 of Reach Students Exam Tips. And my tip for you today is this: do your best questions first, all right? You will have to check with exactly the format of your exam, but most exams, it's okay if you do one question. You don't have to do them in the order that they're on the exam sheet, that's what I'm saying. So there's no point doing the question first just because it's number 1 if it's your worst question. You don't want to spend the first hour of your exam like slogging through this question feeling absolutely awful because you know that you're bodging it up. Don't do that. Pick a question that you know that you've got a good chance of getting good marks on. Do that question first, and then you'll be like, yeah, I've done that well, yeah. You get a bit of a strut going, as it were, and you'll be able to approach the rest of your questions with a bit of confidence, knowing that you've already got a good question in the bag. And leave that stinker of a first question to last when your brain's a bit frazzled, when you're tired, and you probably do a bad job of it anyway. Okay, hope that helps. See you tomorrow. Hi, welcome back, Reach students, exam tips. Day 4, fourth tip is this. When you're in your exam, plan your answers. Now obviously here I'm talking mainly about essay type questions. And what I would suggest is spend up to a quarter of your time planning your answer. Now that sounds like a lot, and when you're in the exam, you've got to resist that urge to kind of panic and go, oh, crikey, everyone else next to me is like writing like a madman. I don't want to spend time planning. But believe me, just take a few deep breaths, do some planning, and it will serve you well, okay? Stop, think, pray, if you're a Christian, if you want to do that kind of thing. And just think about all the ways you could answer that question, all the bits of knowledge that you've got tucked away in your brain that you can really bring out to answer the question. Plan an introduction, plan your first paragraph, plan your second paragraph, plan your third paragraph, plan your conclusion, plan the flow of your essay answer. Because what you don't want to do is start writing like a madman, get about a third halfway through your time and realise, oh flipping heck, I've gone off on a totally wrong tangent here, or there's a key point that I really needed to make earlier on in my essay answer. But if you've planned, you won't make that mistake and your answer will be good. Okay, check back tomorrow for our final tip. Hi and welcome back to our fifth and final exam skills tip here at Reach Students. And the final one is probably the most important one, and that is this. In your exam, keep to time, okay? So say, I don't know, it's a 3-hour exam, 3 1-hour essays. Keep to time, spend 1 hour on each of the essays. Don't spend like 1.5 hours on one of the essays, 1.25 hours on the second essay, and then leave yourself with only 15 minutes for the final one. Keep to time, no matter how much each of those questions begs you to spend more time on them. Please spend more time on me. You can do an amazing answer if you just give me 5 more minutes. No, be ruthless, move on. And why do I say that? Well, it's the principle of going for the low-hanging fruit. So imagine a fruit tree and you want to get as much fruit off that tree as possible. Well, the fruit that is low-hanging is much easier to get, and you can get that much more quickly. If you're thinking about the fruit that is right up the top of the tree, well, that's difficult. You have to reach and strain to get it, and it's pretty difficult. And it's the same with an exam. If you've already spent an hour on a question, well then by spending 10 more minutes on that question, you're kind of reaching and striving to get the marks that are really difficult, the fruit that is high up the tree, as it were. Far better to just put a full stop down and move on to the next question and get all the easy marks, the low-hanging fruit on that question. And be ruthless, be disciplined, get a calculator out if you need to and work out exactly how long you've got on each question. And when time is up, just be ruthless, move on. And if you do that, you'll pass. Look, I hope these 5 tips have been useful. Go back and check out the others if you've missed them. We'll be running exam skills, we'll be running time management, we'll be running our weekly skeptical talks next term. We'd love to get to know you. But just remember, do your best, work hard. Exams aren't everything, just do your best. Jesus said, what does it profit someone to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? So don't let exams become everything. They're important, but they're not everything. Okay, hope you do really well, hope you work really hard, and we'll see you in the new year. Cheers, bye-bye.